Welcome to the Heidi Thorne Show. I'm your host, Heidi Thorne, and in this podcast, I share my real-world self-publishing and small business experience with you. Before we get started, I just want to remind you to subscribe, like, comment, and share this show with your friends. At the end of each year, I go through an analysis of what platforms were working for me, the website traffic, all of that. So I'm going to share with you some of my statistics from 2020, and I'll also share some book sales statistics, which I'm sure a lot of you will be able to relate to. Okay, so let's dig into some of the website statistics. The total traffic was a bit down from 2019, but nothing very concerning. And a lot of the stats were very similar to 2019 and prior in terms of the breakdown. I have a lot of organic traffic on my blog. In fact, 83% in 2020. A lot of that can be attributed to that I write nonfiction content. So a lot of people are searching for the subjects that I do talk about. For fiction writers, it's much more challenging because people are generally not searching for topics you might be talking about. But for nonfiction, SEO, search engine optimization is a big deal. But the interesting part, social media may not be the best place for some authors. Now for me, I really enjoy being on social media. I use it as a listening platform more than anything else. And it really doesn't do a whole lot in terms of traffic. The Facebook traffic to my blog, just a little over 0.5%. And that's the biggest social media source to my blog. Pinterest is the next one at 0.3%. So social media really isn't driving a lot of traffic to my blog. Now, this wasn't always the way it was because in the early going, a lot of the social media platforms encouraged links to off-platform content. But recently, there's been more of a drive for what is called native social media. They want to keep you on their platform as long as possible. They don't want you jumping off to some other website because they know you won't be coming back, and that's bad for them. You're not there to see advertising, which is their source of revenue. So you can see why they're motivated to keep you on the platform and not jumping off to other websites. The other stats I want to talk about are podcast related. I finally reached 5,000 downloads with the audio version of my podcast. So thank you for your support if you do listen to the audio version. But the YouTube version of it has had a lot of very positive growth in the past year. For example, the views were up 112%, my watch time on my channel was 148% up, and my number of subscribers was up by 239%. So I had a lot of growth on my YouTube channel, which is great. And looking at the analytics for YouTube, which has a really good analytics platform for you to use. So look at the analytics in your YouTube Creator Studio so that you can get some more insight as to where these people are coming from to your YouTube channel. So for example, 39.5% of my traffic on YouTube comes from YouTube search. So people are coming to YouTube, they're typing in the topic that they want to know more about, and then they are looking at my videos. So that's a pretty good result. External, meaning that it's from my videos being embedded into other websites, is 29.2%, which is another big chunk of traffic, and a good chunk of the external traffic comes from my blog. So a lot of people are watching my YouTube videos on my blog. Other sources for YouTube traffic are from channel pages, whether it's my own or someone else's that's posted my stuff on their channel, suggested videos by YouTube, and browsing features on YouTube. That was another 22%. So that's basically the biggest chunk of the traffic, and the others are just smaller pieces of traffic. So YouTube has been doing very well for me over the past year. So that may be a signal that I need to spend more time there. And in all honesty, I have been spending more time there, not so much on the YouTube platform, but on creating content that's YouTube friendly. And one thing that I think has really helped with both the SEO is that I upload a transcript or captions. I upload those to each video. Now, this is an extra expense for me. I use Temi.com, Temi.com. This is a paid service. I do like their program, and it's really very accurate and very cost effective as well. So what I do is I clean up the transcript. I just send them my video or the audio of my video, and then they transcribe it. And then I just clean it up and then upload it to my YouTube channel along with the video. And I think that has helped because Google is run by robots, and the robots still can't quite get the captions correct on the videos. If you've ever seen the auto captions on some of your videos, they're horrible. I mean, truly horrible. So if you want them accurate and friendly for your viewers and listeners, and you have to remember that some people also just watch the captions to your video. They don't listen to it, they just watch it, whether it's because they have hearing impairments or they're just trying to do something quietly instead of just listening to something. I think it's a really important thing to add, so something to consider, but it is a cost, so you might need to put that in your budget. One of the things it also helps it with is Google search, not just YouTube search, even though YouTube is part of Google. But one of the other external sources of views for my videos comes from Google search. So it helps you on multiple fronts. Let's talk about money issues, because everybody wants to talk about money issues, right? My book sales were down for 2020, down 35%. Ugh, that's disappointing. And if you dig into the 35% down, my print book sales were down only 2 3/4%. That was the strongest format for sales for me in 2020. Audio, which had been doing so well for me, was down 46%. My Kindle sales were down 56%. And my Kindle Unlimited reads were down 30% from the year-over-year stats. It was just shocking. Now, during the first half of 2020 through June, everything was tracking with 2019. In fact, total, everything was only about 5% off. I was thinking, wow, that's great. The pandemic didn't hurt me too bad. But then during summer, everything just kind of fell off a cliff. It was awful, and not like my other years in the past either. Now, of course, we have to consider that the pandemic certainly had an impact. A lot of authors were thinking, well, people are at home, they're working from home, they're going to be doing reading, so it could be good for us authors, right? I don't think so. As I've explained before in other videos about the pandemic, I don't think people were sitting at home and reading. I think they were so distracted by all of the unbelievable once-in-a-lifetime issues that we were facing in 2020. Whether it was the pandemic or election or civil unrest, I just think that it was too overwhelming, and I don't think people were reading as much as we would have thought they would. However, as January starts, some of those numbers are getting better for me. And that's typical for me. When I look at my stats over time, usually the early part of the year is good for me because I talk about self-publishing in my books. I talk about business issues and growing a small business, that sort of thing. So a lot of people are interested in those kinds of topics as they start off the year and maybe some new projects or endeavors. So usually the early part of the year is good for me. So it looks like it's looking up right now. So I hope it is for you too. And the interesting thing as well is that my blog, in terms of revenues, was up 4% from 2019. The number of actual visits was down a little bit, but the ad revenues were still really, really good for 2020. And the other thing is Udemy. As you know, I have a few courses on Udemy, and my Udemy revenues were up 200+%, which is great. And a lot of it was due to one of my classes or courses, which is how to self-publish an audiobook. That is extremely popular right now, and I can see why, because a lot of authors are interested in creating audiobooks because people are actually listening to them. And the other course I would suggest that you do check out is how to sell your self-published book on Amazon. This is real world stuff. I am not one of those to tell you how you're going to make $10,000 a day or a month or a week or whatever. It's insane. Those are crazy, and I've talked about that in other videos, that those numbers are only for those who want to be authorpreneurs and want to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on advertising. But this is real world stuff for real self-published authors. And I've updated it with all kinds of changes that have occurred on Kindle Direct Publishing. Also, it goes into how to figure out how big your platform is, your author platform fan base, and it shows you how to forecast how many books you might sell. And a lot of people don't know how to do that. And as I've said in other videos, it's only about 1% of your fan base that will actually buy your book. And when I looked at my figures for 2020, that was it right there, just a little over 1%. So I would suggest that you check out those Udemy classes as you start to ramp up your endeavors for 2021. So I hope you found this helpful. And if you did, please rate, review, and subscribe to The Heidi Thorne Show on whatever podcast platform you like to use. I'm on all the major ones: Apple Podcast and Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, Amazon Music, Pandora. And if you like the YouTube video better, all you have to do is subscribe to my Heidi Thorne YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell so that you get an alert when a new video is available. And if you would share either the audio or the video with your friends on social media, I would appreciate it. My self-published books are available on Amazon, Audible, and Apple Books. All you have to do is search for my name, Heidi Thorne, and my author page will come up and you'll see all the books listed there. If you'd like to connect with me, my website is very simply HeidiThorne.com. Thank you so much for listening and for your support. I'll look forward to talking with you again in the next episode. And in the meantime, have a great day.